Stay tuned for town response to the first round of Barnstable iForum topics on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Friday, February 24th, 2012. I'm Sarah Colvin. As our Barnstable iForum users know, we recently posted a brand new set of topics of discussion online, which have already generated a number of ideas and comments. But many of you may be wondering, what's happening with our ideas? I welcomed Acting Town Manager Tom Lynch to Barnstable this morning today to discuss just that. Tom, as part of our iForum team, are definitely listening, and I know all of the various department heads are listening as well.
Yeah, I think we've got to get a better job, I think, of responding immediately to people. We do have that client administrator option where people can go right on and say something, but many times I'm not sure people are looking for immediate response as much as they want to be sure that it's under review, or that when we're talking about a particular idea, that their thoughts will be incorporated. So that how we incorporate those ideas happening on a couple of fronts. One is that as you know from our conversations that we've had with the folks who help us with this forum, they're going to come out with a new application where someone will be able to look at their idea and actually track it.
Exactly.
And they'll have different categories as to how we say what's happening with that idea. We knew that we probably couldn't wait that long, so we'll put together a spreadsheet where we've taken the ideas. In some instances we've grouped them, but I think we had over 80 ideas that we looked at, and have, for instance, and put together a spreadsheet that we're going to now post on the website, and I'm going to be sending it to councilors, town councilors, so that they can see what we're doing. And whatever the topic was, whether it was strengths or getting around Barnstable, or news and information, we took each of the ideas, recycling, railroad infrastructure, whatever someone might have mentioned, and then talked about whether we referred it to an appropriate agency, and then what that agency might be. For instance, with the railroad infrastructure, we referred it to an agency. It was the Regional Transportation Authority.
Of course.
With recycling, we're sending that to both the Renewable Energy Commission so they can read all those issues that people had on that, and of course the Department of Public Works, which deals with the recycling issues on a regular basis.
Exactly, and I think it's good for our viewers to know that we really sat down and looked at every single idea that was posted on there. Definitely not a small task at all, and really took a look at all the ideas, took a look at the comments, and said, okay, well, where is this? Is this something we can implement? Is this something that we could even do? In the case of railroad infrastructure, obviously that's not something the town deals with, but it is something the RTA deals with. Exactly. So we'll pass it along to them, and these ideas will all be shared with those appropriate agencies.
And individuals looking at this will see that there weren't just referrals. Sometimes the idea might have been implemented. There was one on electric car charging stations. We applied for a grant. We got that grant. We're going to have 4 electric car charging stations around the town. So we're able to implement that and take someone's idea and show that we had already been working on it somewhat, but that they're on the right track, and that we know we're on the right track because citizens are out there thinking about that sort of thing.
Absolutely, and I know moving forward, as you said, we're going to try and work on seeing if we can get a quicker response to those things, and maybe utilize the client admin a little bit more. Take a look at the ideas, maybe not after the iteration is complete, but as the ideas are in the course. I mean, currently we've got a number of brand new topics up, and already we've got a number of comments and ideas posted just in the few short weeks that it's been up.
Yeah, and I think on those questions, for instance, when we had the first round of questions, people started talking about the issue of addiction, and so we tried to refine a question in the second forum round of questions in this current iForum, where it was, how do you make Barnstable a drug-free community? And right away we started getting comments. I've got a lot of ideas on that, and we don't always have, I know you will take the opportunity to tell citizens about things like the forum that's going to go on in Sandwich next week about prescription drugs, and sponsored by Legislative Committee. Randy Hunt, who's on our show, will probably talk about that in greater detail this week. So we can link it with other things that are happening in the community. But there's an area where it was mentioned, the first one. We all saw the response to Chris Herron and the 2,000 people that showed up at Barnstable Barnstable High School, and we said, well, maybe citizens have more ideas about this. And again, the conversations that folks are having are very interesting. Even if you don't participate, you feel like you're sitting there listening to a real conversation. Someone might say, well, what I really meant to say, or thank you for adding to that idea. And thus far, people have been very civil and positive. And as you said, I think we're feeling it's a success, and that it's something that's definitely helping us with various policy developments as we move along.
Exactly. And some thoughts and questions could come up that maybe there are answers to that people aren't aware of, maybe where to go to find the answer, or whom to ask. And with the citizens participating, someone else may know the answer and say, oh, we have this great program, or we've got this, or you can go on the town's website and find this or this. And it's just, I think it's been a great informational resource as well.
I think when people look at our responses, coming back to that subject again, we use things like understaff review or ongoing if it was something related to the police and they were working on, helping resolve street crimes, for instance, or something like that. I think what we'll see as we refine that more, that there'll be sections like, under financial review, or it might say financially unfeasible, but it might mean at this time, because with limited resources we may not be able to embark on solving a big problem. But we don't want to discourage folks from putting ideas out there, because someone may offer one thing, there are a couple of ideas that come from that, and then you say, oh, well, we can do that. So no idea is certainly discouraged. And I think we had a nice response from those who actually got the prizes too. I don't know if you've covered that in the past.
Well, we haven't talked about that,
Yeah.
and I had printed out, we of course, one facet of the iForum is you do earn points. So if you post an idea, you get a number of seconds. There's a whole point structure there to kind of encourage people to post good, feasible ideas. And at the end of each topic round, we do give out rewards, and they're really fun rewards. And at the top, I think it's the top 5 or the top 6 actually, point getters receive awards. And we have some great awards. A dog license that we had.
Eddie got that.
Eddie got the dog license.
I'm going to be having breakfast with Moira at some point, and Laurie is going to have lunch. So I've got two winners that I'll be 2 dates that I'll be sitting down and talking about other issues that they're also interested in, and then some of the others on there.
We have a tour of the solar wind project, which actually I'd like to do, and I think I should call Richard Elrick and see if he'll give me one. But Ron,
maybe you can go with Ron.
I think I might try and go with Ron. I'll piggyback on that. Amanda, of course, got a tour of the brand new airport terminal and tower, very fun, and a Segway tour.
Well, I think Deborah is the adventurous one there, and we'll be going through her neighborhood, perhaps on a Segway, and we'll be coming up with different awards that are there, and they're not necessarily monetary awards, but they're things that let people know that we appreciate them taking the time to participate.
Although I will say, Tom, nobody was brave enough to come on Barnstable this morning.
What's up with that? I mean,
know.
it's just are they afraid that they'll pale in comparison to the host and our present person, Ms.
I know they can't be
Chatrin?
as good as Melissa, our current weather girl.
She's blushing over there. They can't see her off camera, but we can.
Exactly. So I definitely would encourage people to go online. So Tom, one last question I had for you. No, of course, as our acting town manager, how useful do you find the comments and questions and topics that people are posting on iForum? Is there anything that you didn't expect that came out of this?
Well, I should have expected the thoughtfulness, because people don't have a lot of, don't have a lot, but they're always, well thought out. And what I've found is that we have senior managers meetings every 2 weeks, and what I will do, in addition to bringing up topics that are on my agenda, I will also say to them, by the way, Marine Environmental Affairs, or Chief McDonald, or someone else. There's this thread on iForum. You may want to go on and look at that.
You can join in the conversation at barnstableiforum.com. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.